So after area and perimeter, we will progress to volume and surface area. So this part is still under the same mensuration formula. So in the volume and surface area in Sec 1, you're going to learn these four shapes: cube, cuboid, prism, and a closed cylinder. Okay, so out of these four shapes, the prism will be the hardest. So the prism would be the hardest and is the most tricky. Okay, so volume is like the capacity. So I think in primary school there is some amount of volume. You learned it like length and breadth and height. So it will be the same idea except that you're exploring a very, very different shape. So in Sec 2, you also learn different volume and surface area. So right now the Sec 2 are learning things like pyramid, cone, and sphere. So it's more like three-dimensional solids. Okay, so everything that you learn will be accumulated in Sec 2 work. So all these, right, will also be encountered in Sec 2 work. Okay, I will not be exploring this formula yet because I'll be showing you numerical example. So today we'll be starting off with the more basic one. Prism will be the last that we're going to explore because that's the hardest. So we should not be explored in this part for today. Okay, so I'm going to show you example that's related to a cube. So cube, the feature of a cube is all the length and breadth and height are all the same. Okay, so if they only give you a 25, that means, right, actually all these are 25. So a cube is like an ice cube, you can imagine. Okay, so of course, some ice cube, they are not cube. They are rectangular block. But here is like a piece of very nice ice cube. And actually, if you explore the volume, so the volume will be length and breadth times height. But because all the length and breadth and height are all the same, so actually nothing interesting. So it's just 25 times 25 times 25. Okay, but again, you got to be writing units. So volume is centimeter cube. So still label units. So in the next one, if you look, okay, this is 1.4. Everything is 1.4. So if I do the length times breadth times height, it will just be 1.4 times 1.4 times 1.4. That's pretty easy. You just have to be mindful about the units first. So in this case, right, it will be meter cube. So label units. Okay, after this, we're going to explore the surface area. So actually, you need to realize that they got 6 faces. So a cube got 6 faces, and each of the faces are square. So like this part here. So this is one of the face. So there's actually 6 pieces of this. Okay, so the surface area, the short form is SA, surface area, will be 6 squares. You can tell yourself it's made up of 6 squares. So each of the squares is 25 times 25. Do you realize it's different units because it's area? So surface area, the units is in centimeter square. Volume is in cube. So the same thing is going to happen here. So there are 6 of them. So this is like the square that you learned in the previous area and perimeter. So surface area is also like 6 squares. So 6 of 1.4 times 1.4. Wrong units, meter square. So same thing, label units. So that is the idea of a cube. Okay, let's go to a cuboid. So I always describe a cuboid like a tissue box. So let me show you a tissue box. So if you have a tissue box at home, I think it's easier for you to visualize. Okay, so if you have a tissue box at home, right, it's actually easier for you to see that it's actually a cuboid. And you will see like the opposite sides have the same kind of rectangle. So the opposite end, they actually got the same rectangle. The top and bottom also got the same rectangle. The front and back also got the same rectangle. So a cuboid also has 6 faces, but not all the 6 faces are the same. So that's the tricky part. So that's what you need to understand about a cuboid. It's 6 different 6 faces, but they are different. They are not all the same. For the volume, it's still length and breadth and height. So volume will be quite easy. So volume will be length times breadth times height. So nothing tricky about it. They need to give you all the dimension, then you can find the volume. So volume is centimeter cube. So label volume unit, sorry. So the next one is also the same thing. The volume is length and breadth times height. So nothing spectacular. It's also not new to all of you. So label units. Okay, so the surface area is the one that will mess up that students mostly mess up during the exam. So what will I suggest, right? Okay, so the opposite ends are the same. So maybe you want to, check out. So this is one of these are the opposite ends. And then we got the bottom, the top and bottom. And we also got the front and back. Okay, so what you can do is this. Some of you, I think you are better at drawing. So if you are the kind who is better at drawing, maybe you want to do it like this. You can visualize like the sides and the bottom. Okay, and the front part. So if you want to, right, you can try to, visualize first. So visualize first. So this is just, if you want, you can just draw it at the side. And then after you draw it out, right, then you do the surface area. So there should be 2 pieces of this, right? So this one is at the side. There's also 2 pieces of this. And there's also 2 pieces of this. So there are 6 rectangles. So maybe if you want to, you draw so that you don't make careless mistake. Of course, when you punch calculator, you also got to be careful. So this is surface area, so it's centimeter square. So label units. So to help you with the surface area, maybe you want to draw out. Okay, so draw out the front and back, the sides, and the top and bottom. So same thing, we're going to do the surface area here. So this one is at the side. So maybe you want to draw. And then this one is at the bottom. And then this part here is in the front part. You know, you can draw to visualize a little bit better. So at the side is 0.2 and 0.36. Okay, at the bottom is 0.2 and a 0.4. At the front part is 0.4 and 0.36. Okay, so you can draw out the pieces first, and each of them will be 2 pieces. So I got 2 pieces of the front parts, and 2 pieces of the sides. I also got 2 pieces of the top and bottom. I also got 2 pieces of the front and back. Okay, then you punch calculator. So this is area, don't give the wrong unit. So it's meter square. So labor and units. Will you get marks deducted, right? Yes, you will get marks deducted if your units is wrong. So that is the idea. That's the difference between a cube and a cuboid. So if you think about the sides, it's made out of rectangle and square. So you already learned rectangle and square in the previous topic. So now it builds up into a cube and cuboid. Okay, so that is the idea on surface area and volume of cube and cuboid.